So it is Friday, and you guys know what we do here on the channel on Fridays. It is the Washington football team's weekly preview versus the team that they are facing that week. It is week 3 of the National Football League's 2021 season, and the Washington football team is set to travel to Orchard Park to face the 1-1 Buffalo Bills. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We got another Washington football team video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with my preview. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington football team. Let's get straight into today's video. So the preview is finally here, and the Washington football team has a huge task in front of us. When you look at the Buffalo Bills, it's a reason why they were in the AFC Championship game last year. Now, they're not off to the best of starts, i.e. Josh Allen, but that could all change against Washington, and how this defense has been playing, not too sure we can handle Josh Allen and his offense. Besides Josh Allen on the offensive side of the ball, they are loaded. They have Devin Singletary, Zach Moss in the backfield. They have my Merlin Turp, one of the best, if not the best receiver in all of football, Stephon Diggs. They have Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis. They have Emmanuel Sanders. They have Dawson Knox. They are loaded on the offensive side of the ball. And with the way this defense has been playing, man, I'm scared to go up against this offense. But like I said in my previous video, both of these teams are coming in struggling. Our defense is struggling, their offense is struggling. More so, their main player, their most important player in Josh Allen is struggling. But our defense as a whole is struggling. So, like I said in my previous video yesterday, this could be the game where the Washington football team actually gets back on track because the offense of the Buffalo Bills, i.e. Josh Allen, is struggling. Or this could be the game where Josh Allen gets back on track and finds his groove because we on defense is struggling. Now, I personally think if we want to beat the Buffalo Bills, we got them at the right time in week 3 before they hit their stride. I said this to my gym teacher, man. Shout out to my gym teacher. I'm graduated now, but shout out to my gym teacher, man. He's a huge Buffalo Bills fan. When the schedule came out, I told him we got him in week 3, and I feel like this is the perfect time. If we want to beat you guys, this is the only time we have it, because I don't want to see you guys in week 8. I don't want to see you guys in week 12 when you're in full, postseason mode trying to fight for a playoff spot. So I feel like if Washington wants to beat the Buffalo Bills, we got them at the right time. Now, you're probably asking, what do we have to do to beat the Buffalo Bills? It's straight up simple. We have to continue to keep Josh Allen on the road he is on right now. So in week 1 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, Josh Allen threw for 270 yards, a touchdown, and no interception. And in the Dolphins game where they won 35-0, Josh Allen went for 179 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Now, they're not terrible yards and game stats, but it's not the Josh Allen we're accustomed to. We have to keep Josh Allen on this pedestal. How do we do that? Keep him down this road that he's going down right now is being a game manager, not really affecting the game with his arm and throwing 4-3 touchdowns. Because like I told you in a blink of an eye, this score can be 35-3 headed into the locker room. This is how good that offense is. But how do we keep Josh Allen down the road he's on right now with only throwing 100 yards, 200 yards in a whole game? We gotta get pressure on him. Jack Del Rio can't be scared to send an extra 5, 6, maybe even 7 sometimes. I know that may be OC, but you gotta throw different looks at Josh Allen. You can't just continue to send 4, especially if we're not hitting home. Now, I understand where Jack Del Rio is coming from, and he may not want to blitz a lot, because here's the 2 things you gotta realize when you're blitzing. You're leaving basically one-on-one coverage across the board for a guy like Josh Allen. You may not want to do that. And secondly, he has so much faith in our front 4 to get home, but as of right now in the first 2 contests, we haven't shown that we can get home that much. Yeah, you have Tez getting a little bit of pressure, you have John Allen with 3 sacks actually, and you have Chase, getting some pressure here and there, but it's not consistent enough to where you only want to rush 4. But at some point in the season, I think that's when we're going to get back to where we were last year. But right now, you need to throw some blitzes in here. I'm not saying blitz every single play, but just switch it up, give them different looks. Remember last week when Kendall Fuller came in on the cornerback blitz? That's a good play call because they weren't expecting that. How often do we call a cornerback blitz? And I know it's only been 2 weeks, but I feel like that was the first time we called a cornerback blitz. There you go. You don't need to call it every single play. I'm not saying be frequent with your blitzes, but just mix them up, call them at different points in the game. If you want to call a blitz, maybe call it in the first quarter, probably about 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, then don't call another blitz. If this is how you want to do it, if you don't want to be as frequent with it, call another blitz maybe around the 2-minute warning or even after halftime. I think the best way to keep Josh Allen off his toes is sending some extra blitzers in there on some plays. Now, I respect Jack Del Rio's decision to not blitz as much because once again, he expects Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat to get home, which I think this may be the game where we actually turn it around. And you'll see why I said that in a second. But you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot just go back in a soft zone, go back in a cover 2 man. You can't just send your 4 guys every single play, because then Josh Allen is going to pick us apart. You heard the weapons I already said. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, Dawson Knox. You heard all the weapons I said. If you're going to sit back in a man, if you're going to sit back in a soft zone all game, we're going to get picked apart. That is just simple. Josh Allen, although he is struggling, he is not no bum. He is going to pick us apart if we sit back in a soft zone. He's going to have all day to throw, and then somebody can just sit down in the soft zone. If you run man, I know us running man doesn't really work too much. Just go back to last week. I want to say it was Darius Slayton versus William Jackson, and then Kendall Fuller getting burnt by Kyle Rudolph. It doesn't work that much. We said our man doesn't work that much, but I hate the soft zone, man. If we're gonna run zone, at least get up in their chest, man. Stop playing 10 yards off. The next way the Washington football team could beat the Buffalo Bills is by doing this. We have to contain Stephon Diggs. Now, I honestly don't think that's possible. I know my Merlin Turk biasness may be taking over, but Stephon Diggs is so good. The way he runs routes, the way he creates separation, the way he catches the ball and explodes after he catches the ball, man, he's just so good. But William Jackson, I have all the faith in the world in you. You haven't shown me one reason not to. Maybe you getting burned by Darius Slayton, but I still got faith in you, man. You're my #1 corner for a reason. We paid you the big bucks. You got an interception already on the year. I got faith in you to contain SD, man. If you can't contain SD, put some safety help over there, JDR. Don't be scared. Allow Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, and Emmanuel Sanders to beat us. If they all beat us, and then you just got to tip your cap. Just don't make it easy for them and allow 1-4 to beat us. Because if that's the case, then 1, Jack Del Rio didn't do a good job of game planning, and 2, we may have bigger problems in the secondary than we thought. Moving on to the next way the Washington football team Moving on to the next way the Washington football team could beat the Buffalo Bills, we have to exploit this offensive line. Now, I went over the offensive line in the last video. It's not terrible, but it's not better than the Washington football team's front 4. At least we think so. You know what I'm saying? So I think Washington needs to take advantage of the Bills' offensive line, because I really do think if we can get back to our old form last year, it could be a long day for Josh Allen. You know, when you look at the pressures that Montez Sweat has been accumulating, he hasn't really been getting home all that much, but he is almost there. Same could be said for Chase Young. It's just all about putting it all together more consistently. It's like one play Chase will get home, and then you won't hear from Chase until the second or third quarter, and that's a good job. And I'm just exaggerating my estimate of not hearing from Chase in a game, but you get what I'm saying here. But that's a good job of the teams that we're facing game planning for our edge rushers. You just got to get your heads off where you get and be honest, man. But I think Washington's defensive line can get back on track. If you have Big John with 3 sacks, hopefully Matt Ioannidis is good to go. He was at LP in practice yesterday, and I think he's going to practice again today, so we should be good. We should have all our guys. Throw some more Tim Settle in there, man. I know Tim Settle got in there a little bit last week, but throw him in there sometimes, man, on some pass rushing downs, because I think Tim Settle is very, very underrated. We may be losing him after this season, and he could very well start on any other team in the NFL. Same can be said for Matt Ioannidis, but like I said, we need our D-line to take us to this victory. Our D-line rides on them. I know our offense has been really good, but if our offense is good and our defense is trash, do not feel good with having a shootout with Josh Allen and the Bills offense. So we need our defense to step up if we want to have a chance to beat the Buffalo Bills. So once again, I have a good faith in this defensive line. And once again, if we want to beat the Buffalo Bills, we have to take advantage of their offensive line, who isn't terrible, but it's not better than our defensive line. Moving on to our offense versus their defense. When you look at their defense is really good. I always felt like Buffalo had an underrated defense. They got Gregory Rousseau in this past year's draft. They got AJ Epinesa from last year's draft from Iowa, who was really solid for them. Really hasn't broken through, but he's been really solid. I believe they drafted him in the second round last year. Gregory Rousseau, they got him in the first round. So those are their left defensive ends. Then you go to their right defensive end, Jerry Hughes, who is a very good, solid veteran, and he's been in this league, it seems like, for 25 years now. Then behind him, you have Mario Edison, who's really good too, in my opinion. Then they have Ed Oliver. Now, I don't think he is a superstar, don't get me wrong, but he receives a lot of hate from Buffalo Bills fans, maybe because they expect him to be more than what he was, but he's not a game wrecker by any means, but he's really solid. Then after that, you have right defensive tackle, they have Star Lele, who has a health emblem by his name. He is dealing with a little bit of injury. I expect him to play though. And then their strong linebacker, they have AJ Klein. And their middle linebacker, Trey Edmonds. And their weak side linebacker, Matt Milano. As we know, that's the guy that we wanted in free agency, but he decided to sign back with the Buffalo Bills. Then you go to their secondary, they have Levi Wallace, who's dealing with an injury, Trey White, who we know one of the best corners in all of football, who is severely underrated again. Then they have their two safeties, who are really good, one of the best safety duos in all of football, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, to close out their defense. That defense is really good. I think their weak spot is their front four, however, because they don't have a game wrecker. They just have stuff. They have solid players. Star Lele is really solid. Mario Edison, Jerry Hughes, Ed Oliver, Gregory Rousseau. They're stuff. They're solid. But they're not game wreckers. So I think their weak spot of their defense is their front four. And we have to take advantage of that. Give Gibby the ball a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game where Gibby has about 25-30 carries in this game, because that front four is not the best. Unless they send us some, extra blitzers in, I think Taylor Heineke should have a clean pocket. We shouldn't struggle too much with their defensive line, their edge rushers, and their D tackles, because I feel like our offensive line can handle it. I don't think they have anybody that really scares me off the edge or even up in the middle in the interior. Now, when you move back to the linebacking core, Trey Edmonds, sorry about that, and Matt Milano are some guys that really scare me, because Trey Edmonds is really good at the middle linebacker position, and Matt Milano, who we know we wanted in free agency, is really good too. And what even scares me more than that is Trey Davius White in the secondary. Their two safeties in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. They are so good in that back end, man. They are one of the best safety duos in all of football. So that is really what scares me about this defense. I'm excited to see Terry versus Trey White for the second time. Remember, Terry went against him in 2019. And then on the other side, you have Levi Wallace versus De'Ami Brown. So I'm excited to see our young rookie get a test early and often. I want to see how he goes up against Levi Wallace. So it's going to be a really fun game. I think it may be closer than most. Like I said, if we caught these boys in week 8 and our defense was performing how the way it is now, we may get blown out by 30. But since it's week 3 and our defense is struggling and Josh Allen is struggling, I think this game is going to be closer than what most think. However, I do have Washington suffering the loss, man. We're going to be going 1-2. I have Washington losing the game 35-26. It's going to be closer than what the scoreboard says, but I just think Washington can't pull it out. I don't think we're going to score over 30 points. I don't think this offense is going to be enough to keep up with Josh Allen. And once again, I hope I am wrong, but I'm just being a real fan here. I don't see a way we beat the Buffalo Bills unless that defense turns up. So yeah, man, there you have it. That is my week 3 game preview versus the Buffalo Bills. Let me know what you guys think about this video down below. Put your score predictions down below, and guys, be unbiased. I know we want to say we're going to win, and I hope and pray we win, but be realistic. If you truly think we're going to win, put it down below. You know what I'm saying? Don't let my opinion deteriorate yours. It's all about your opinion. As always, it's me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hell to the Washington football team. I'm out. Peace. Cross me one time, that's gonna get you popped. Get you popped.